Okay, I think we are live. I hope I'm audible. I'm testing a lot of stuff tonight. Um, late night. Let me actually get some water because I'm like super thirsty. So I came today to talk a little bit about. Honestly, I was going to do a little demo in the kitchen, and I'm still going to talk about those things, but I want to start out talking about transformation and change and the commitment required to achieve those things. Now, I've been planning for a couple days to do this live, right? And when I tell you pretty much everything that could possibly get in the way and go wrong did to try and stop me. It's 11:11 Pacific Standard Time right now. Hey, it's the magic hour. Look at Spirit. Look how things worked out. So I plan to do this much earlier in the day. But situations and circumstances and things kept happening. Oh my. Oh my, oh my. So that's why I'm here at this magical hour to fulfill my intention to do a live stream today. Um, Part of me wanted to do, I actually was going to do a YouTube video, but then I changed my mind. A bunch of things happened. My camera that I was going to use, I've had this camera for maybe a year or more and I haven't really used it. So I was like, no, I'm going to use it to go live. There's a bunch of different reasons why I don't use it. Actually, maybe I'll talk about that later at some point. But yeah, I decided I'm going to pull it out of retirement, blow the dust off that thing, and put it to use, put it to work. Oh my God, all the things that went wrong with that, culminating in the fact that after finding my microphone, which I had to look for hours, realizing I don't even have the right equipment to use that camera with the microphone to do an effective live stream video. So we on the iPhone, and then I couldn't find the pieces to even make that work. So it's just been a series of events, circumstances, and situations and hurdles that I had to overcome to even make this happen. But I'm so committed to pushing through anything that tries to stop me from making my intentions possible, from making, my desires manifest. And yeah, I'm happy to be here in this moment. So let me back up and reintroduce myself because I haven't spent a lot of time on this outlet. I am Elle Parker. This has been my channel for a number of years intermittently. I've been talking about health and wellness and my journey through health, wellness, and healing. And today, at this point, I wanted to do a little video as I'm working into this new adventure of living foods. So I had come up with an idea for my very first video, as my intention is to do a lot more social media and things like that. Really get into this creator space that I haven't been able to spend a lot of time with, redirecting my time and energy to make this what I would like it to be, my vision for what I would like it to be. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm going to go ahead with, let me tell you about how after at least 3 hours, no, two and a half, about 2.5 hours of issues, I was going to go live on my Instagram. That was my final decision. And then I go there, I get everything set up, I get ready to do it. And then I discover that just this month, is this still August 2025? Just this month, Instagram changed their guidelines so that you can't even go live unless you have 1,000 followers. And neither of my Instagram pages that I use have 1,000 followers. So after all this time of being able to go live and kind of using it intermittently with no real intention, today when I set and had the intention to actually use it, they have changed the guidelines, so I couldn't even use it. So here I am on my YouTube channel, which I haven't been always very active. Definitely don't think I've done any lives on here like ever. So yeah, this is my very first YouTube live video. Yeah. So that's the quick introduction. Um, I'm really kind of just testing this out, kind of just testing my equipment, hopeful that this microphone is working. I'm not going to find out to the playback. But I'm going to go ahead and just talk about what I came to talk about here tonight. Somebody's on here. Michael, can you hear me? Oh, yay, it's working. Thank you for being here. Thank you for confirming that for me. I kind of didn't really, this is really kind of just a test run. Didn't expect anybody to be here. I know it's 11 p.m. Pacific time and, after midnight in other places, and who knows what time in other places in the World Wide Web. But yeah, so I'm doing this test run tonight. I'll probably do another version tomorrow, a more polished version. But I'm going to go ahead and get into this because honestly, this is when I find myself doing most of my work in the kitchen. So, a little backstory. I just completed a 40-day water fast, maybe 2 weeks ago now. And since coming back into what we call refeeding, as I began refeeding myself, I decided to move forward with my intention to have a living foods diet. Oh, hi, Marco. Hello, hello. So I have a brother who also has a pizzeria restaurant. And one of my goals and intentions was to be able to have a raw foods pizza. What I don't like to call it raw foods, I call it living foods. But when I say living foods, I'm talking about like a raw foods lifestyle. And so coming out of my fast, I was actually able to manifest and create this, my very first living foods pizza. And I'm very excited to continue. I only completed one. It got great reviews, which are you can kind of see on my Instagram, where I can intended to follow up on the story, but we here brand new, so we're gonna talk about what I came to talk about today. So after doing the raw foods pizza, I also have two 20 somethings living in another state and not eating very well. My poor babies, I get it, life, but I'm mom, and I don't like to let life be the reason that my children aren't having healthy food. So what I decided to do was configure my pizza crust recipe and make these crackers that intended to share with my children so they have some healthy living foods. So in the course of doing that, my little video, I would love to be able to do more education. So I'll kind of just talk about my intention is to kind of help people get back into their own kitchens and feeding themselves. All of us need to get back into our own kitchens and start feeding ourselves. What's my favorite food? Pizza. Pizza is one of my favorite foods. So that's why, it was very important for me. I kind of had some other plans how I was going to break my fast. I was like, I'm going to do, after juicing, I'm going to do this whole all you can eat sushi adventure. But none of that happened. And I actually wound up breaking my fast with my own living foods pizza. So I was very happy about that, making like a little dream come true with that. So that worked out. But I do love pizza. I could probably eat pizza every day of my life. And now that I have this living foods recipe that I get to play with, I just might, among other things. But part of this is to kind of help people get back into the kitchen and cooking for themselves. My 22-year-old daughter loves pasta. Where I'm at in my life right now, grains, pastas, rices, all of that stuff, not really going to be a part of my diet. So I don't indulge in pastas. That's something that I have abused in the past, so I can't go back there. Pastas are not for me unless I figure out a way to do some plant-based living food pastas. So that'll be an exciting adventure because I have loved pasta over my lifetime. But today, what I'm going to talk about, I have my little notes, I made some little notes, is sprouting. So it was kind of a new adventure for me in utilizing sprouting. And when I got this pizza crust recipe, this Living Foods pizza crust recipe, it involved sprouting. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about my adventures in sprouting and kind of show how that looks in the different stages. And as I'm working on my project tonight, so that's what I want to show you guys. So I'm going to start by following my little note sheet here. Took some notes. So start first question, why do we do it? Why do we do sprouting? We do sprouting of certain seeds and things like that, nuts and seeds, really the seeds, to make their nutritional content more accessible to our cells as we ingest them. So as we're eating the seeds and whatever it is we're sprouting, we're making the nutrition easier to digest once we get it in our bodies. And I want to talk to, I guess I'm going to show you the different stages of the sprouting. So let me show you what I'm sprouting. I am sprouting buckwheat. And let me tell you a little bit about the buckwheat. When I started using this, it was really my first time using it. I didn't know a lot about buckwheat, but it's actually not wheat at all. It's actually a seed. What else can I tell you about it? It's not a grain, it's a seed. It's naturally gluten-free. It's an excellent source of iron, protein, and fiber. So that means these little tiny seeds, I don't know if you can see, I'll pull some out later, but they're super tiny. And one of the things about seeds that I've learned over the journey in my adventures in dieting and food choices, seeds are super tiny and they're super powerful. They hold a lot of nutritional value, a lot of energy. A lot of the things we need are in some of the smallest foods like seeds. So they're light and powerful. They help to regulate blood sugar. So that's great for anyone dealing with diabetes and all these things. And I'm a recovering sugar addict. So I love anything that's going to help regulate my blood sugar and keep me from craving sugars. It has antioxidant properties and it's anti-inflammatory. So I'm super happy to be introduced. It was actually an elder who shared this pizza crust recipe with me. And although I have many cookbooks and I've seen different grains and I've probably seen the buckwheat in some of the cookbooks, I may not have made the jump into using it because I wasn't familiar with it, were it not for this elder who shared the recipe with me. So I'm happy that he gave me the opportunity to get into the buckwheat. And I'm also going to be very happy to share it with my children and everyone else in my family and my friends. So let me show you step one. Let's get into the beginning here. So I find these, I purchased these from Sprouts grocery store. So hopefully where you live, you have like a natural foods grocery store. I'm sure they probably would have them at a Whole Foods, but I like Sprouts. So I purchased these from Sprouts. And let's see let's see if I can. So my little recipe calls for 2.5 cups of these. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you what it looks like as I'm pouring these in. So that's it. That's the rest of this whole bag. That's my second use of this bag of buckwheat. And this was a 1 pound bag. So yeah. And that gave me about 2 cups. So there's 2 cups. One thing about this buckwheat is the first way we do sprouting is we soak. So you have to soak your seeds, nuts, whatever it is. So we soak the seed. And so this is about 2 cups of the buckwheat. I'll show you there. And whenever I'm soaking, I like to soak in filtered water that I would drink. So I do not drink from my faucet. I do not trust the faucet water where I live. So I never drink from the faucet until I get a whole home water filter. I do shower directly out of the faucet, although I do have a shower head filter on my shower as well. But yeah, so if I'm not going to drink it, I'm not going to soak anything in it that I'm going to ingest into my body. So I use this is my alkaline filtered water. And I got about 2 cups of dry seed. I'm a just basically cover the seeds double with water, because what I've learned is these seeds will expand. So there you go. You can't really, yeah. So this is a 4-cup measuring cup. Gave me about 2 cups of seeds. And now I've covered it up to the top with water. And there's a number of different ways you can do soaking. You know, if you want to soak them in a bowl, if you have mason jars, basically I'm definitely kind of like a use what you have kind of person. I've come a long way in my journey, and as I'm doing these lives, anyone could probably go back and look at some of my earlier videos, but I've come a long way in my journey, and I'll probably share some about that later, but I'm definitely all about using what you have. So, and I believe I got these measuring cups from the Dollar Tree. This one is plastic, not my favorite thing to use. I do have a glass one as well, which I prefer to use glass over plastic. But again, we do the best we can. So that's step 1 in sprouting. You're going to just soak your seeds. And I'm going to soak these overnight. And so basically, I just cover it. It's in my kitchen. I don't think nothing's going to happen to it overnight. I don't put them in the refrigerator because, first of all, I'm going to be back in here in about 6 hours. So when I say overnight, for me, it's only going to be about 6 hours. I'm going to be back at these seeds, back with these seeds. I don't want to put them in the refrigerator because keeping them cold is going to slow the process down. And I want these to be ready as fast as possible. So I'm actually just going to leave them out on the countertop soaking until sunrise when we're back in the kitchen. So that's step 1. Actually, I'm going to set them right here on my stove, which I'm not using because I don't do a lot of cooking. So step 2, like in the morning when I come back, I'm going to drain all the water off of those seeds. And I have some that I've been working with for a couple days, and these are about done actually. So I don't know if you can see the little tails that have sprouted on a lot of these. They're just now starting to sprout. And it's been about 2, maybe 3 days with these seeds. So the way we continue with the sprouting, what I'll be doing with those tomorrow. As you can see, I did the first batch in this mason jar. This is the only mason jar I have of this size right now, and it's full. So that's why we got to move the process along. As I get more equipment, I love the fact that it's glass. I will, use more when I have more, but right now I'm gonna use what I have. So this is what I have. And basically now I'm gonna rinse them. So first you soak, second you rinse. So, and I rinse in cold water as well. Now, just like I said, I don't drink from the sink, from the municipality, the municipal waters. I do shower in the municipal waters, and that's just water running over my body, things like that. So I will shower my foods as well in the municipal waters. Again, that's just until I get a whole home filtered water system. So we're going to use the regular tap water to rinse these seeds. Now, let me show you the way I like to do it. I could empty this whole thing out in like a strainer in a colander, which is another way that I've done it. But now I have kind of like a little easier system. So I use this strainer. And because these have been in here for a couple days, they're about done. I'm be ready to get into this recipe for these crackers. So that's what I'm gonna be working on tomorrow. So tonight we're just gonna do a little prep work. But the way I like to do it is I take my strainer and put it over the glass, and then I'll turn it upside down once I fill this with water. And then the way you want to rinse is you want to rinse these until the water runs clear. So you'll notice that they accumulate kind of a milky water as they're sprouting. And you want to rinse all of that off so that they rinse clear. So what I do, cold water rinse, cold water. Let's see if I can kind of bring you guys with me. You see my little goldfish, they live up here with me now. Yeah, these are so ready. These seeds can about double in size once they have absorbed water. So again, I just cover and drain. That way I don't have to take the seeds out of the jar like I would if they were in a colander. Since I'm not ready to use them, that's why I want them to stay in their jar that they're sprouting in, because I'm not ready to use them yet. So I don't want to pour them out. See that? So this is my little system. Sometimes I use my sprayer so that it gets down to the all the seeds at the very bottom of the jar to make sure they all get rinsed. And again, you just want to keep rinsing until the water is nice and clear. Part of me just wants to let these bubbles overflow, but I don't want to lose my seeds in the process. So just gotta take my time. And that's part of the thing about cooking for yourself, like especially with a living foods diet, things take time. You gotta prepare. This just this crust alone for this pizza takes like minimum three 3 to 4 days prep work. Like 3 days, I guess. Maybe four, because it takes like 12 hours to dehydrate after I do all this. So after letting them sit and sprout for 2 to 3 days, they're going to go in the dehydrator, and they have to stay in the dehydrator for like 12 hours. So This is not a Uber Eats type situation. This is not like an instant get what I want as soon as I want it type situation. And that's why I'm actually kind of proud of myself that I waited to have this, to break my fast. I was pretty proud of myself about that. So these are rinsed pretty clean now. Actually, I might just do just one more for the road, just to make sure. One more. I think that's good enough. So I might do this rinse like twice a day. This is my second time rinsing these today, I believe. But I'll do this rinse like twice a day just to keep them nice and clean. And you definitely want to try to make sure you get all the water out. Now you can go on Amazon and like find these fancy sprouting jars that are made just for sprouting. But like I said, I've been at all levels of the game. You know, you might find me at Dollar Tree finding some supplies at the Dollar Tree. So I might have got this strainer from the Dollar Tree. I don't know. Of course, this mason jar, you're not going to find at Dollar Tree. That's going to cost you a little bit of money. But if you got some money to spend, you can go on Amazon and find jars, glass mason jars that are specifically made for sprouting. So that might make it a little easier for you, might save you some time. And then, so after you drain them, I just use this paper towel. I cover it with a paper towel, put my little ring back on it. I don't even twist the ring because I did that one time and then I had a really hard time getting it off. So I just kind of press the ring down on here. That's so that it can have some air circulation. That's why I put the paper towel to protect it. We don't want nothing flying in there. And then so it has some air circulation so it can continue its sprouting. Now, I don't know if you guys can see all the little sprouts coming off these seeds. These seeds are so close to sprouting. Hey, Wonder Boy, I'm actually not tonight. I'm not going to finish making them tonight. I'm just talking about sprouting tonight. But these are going to be made into some crackers. And I'll get into that tomorrow. That's my plan anyway. So since these are about sprouted, I'm only going to leave them on the counter one more night. I could put these in the refrigerator right now. Again, keeping it cold is going to slow down the sprouting process. And I would only do that because these are sprouting. Most of these have sprouted. And they'll say you don't want to sprout them too much because it'll kind of change the flavor. But I'm going to give these overnight on the countertop. And then when I come in the morning, I'll do another rinse and then I'll put them in the refrigerator because I think they'll be done. So that's it. That's sprouting. It went from dry to soaking in filtered water, covered for protection, to rinse, and wait. Rinse, watch, and wait for the magic to happen. So these have been working on being sprouted for, I want to say today is we'll say Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday. This might be day 3. I should have marked it, and that's one thing you'll get into. We'll talk about as well, labeling everything. But I'm kind of just guerrilla styling it right now. This is either 2 or 3 days. I just know what I want them to look like when they're ready. So yeah, this has been about 2 or 3 days, and these are about ready. So I can't wait to get into this recipe tomorrow. I'm gonna show you guys. I can show you guys some of the ingredients for the rest of the recipe when I get ready to make these crackers. So we're gonna use those sprouted buckwheat seeds. We got cherry tomatoes that are gonna go in, sun-dried tomatoes. Um, and if those tomatoes don't work, I actually bought these tomatoes first, but the recipe actually called for cherry tomatoes. So I was like, let me go ahead and get some cherry tomatoes. Organic, great tomatoes. A little agave and some flaxseed meal. And I think that is all. Maybe some other seasonings, little toppings. Maybe got one more ingredient to get, and I have everything for the crackers. So pizza crackers, that's what I'm making tomorrow. It's going to be pizza crackers. So I already made the pizza crust, which expanded to a full pizza. And tomorrow is going to be my first time making the pizza flavored crackers because I want to be able to ship those to my children in California. So that's the adventure that we'll be on tomorrow. I'm going to, like I said, this has just been a test run. So I'm kind of just testing this out. Thankfully, Amazon has the components I need for my microphone. Thank you. What is that? I don't know how to say the first name. Glee TVH Animates. Thank you for that. I received, and blessings all around. Blessings to everyone. I'm feeling very blessed these days. So many wonderful things have been happening in this transformational time. Just so many blessings. So many blessings. I've been receiving a lot of support and really transforming my life. So probably as we get into some of these lives going forward, you'll hear about some of those stories. But I'm feeling wonderfully blessed in this moment. Blessings are raining down. So thank you. I appreciate that. And I send that love back out to everybody. Love, 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 love out to the world. Thank you for everybody who fell through here during my little test run here. Amazon's going to have the piece that I need so I can actually use my other camera that I want to use. I'm on my iPhone right now, and yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to save this, but tomorrow I'm intent on using this camera that I purchased about a year ago and have never really actually used to do anything with as far as creating content. So we're gonna try to get into that tomorrow. I got the piece coming. It's gonna be here first thing in the morning. So I know people got a lot to say, but I'll be like, bless up Amazon. I've been loving Amazon since book deliveries in the early 2000s or maybe even the late 90s. So I've been rocking with Amazon for a long time. I like their evolution is definitely serving me. So I give thanks. But that's it for now, you guys. Let me see if I have anything else that I didn't talk about that was in my notes. Oh, so the next, I guess tomorrow, we'll get into the next stages. We only talked about like the first two stages, which is the soaking. Stage one is soaking, stage two is rinsing. Tomorrow, I'm going to get into blending and dehydrating. So I'm excited about that. And let's see how that adventure goes. But for tonight, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to sign off and get ready for the next day to begin. And thank you all who stopped through. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all who commented. And I'll look forward to the next one. Wishing you all peace, blessings, and love. Let's see. So this is going to be my first time ending the video. Let's see, how do we stop? Are you sure?